everybody, welcome back to my channel. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hope everything's going your way today. Today, I'm coming to you with a hair tutorial. Yes! Today, I'm going to be showing you how I get my go-to styles using the very simple circle method. So, if you want to just hang out with me and see how I got this hairstyle, then just keep on watching, everybody. Let's get started. Man. Okay, guys, so yeah. Your girl Lily's finally coming at you guys, my peeps, with a somewhat highly requested hair tutorial video. And to tell you the truth, guys, it's long overdue, cause it's been about 2 years since I did a hair tutorial on my channel. As a matter of fact, guys, that was the only hair tutorial I did on my channel. And what better way to keep my commitment to you guys, my peeps, to come to you with different content in 2020 than I did in 2019, than to fulfill some of the requests in 2020 that I didn't fulfill in 2019. Now, before we get into the demo, guys, I'd like to share a couple tips and takeaways just in case I happen not to cover it when I'm doing the voiceover during the demo. In my many years of doing my own hair, I found that when looking for bundles, it's always better to search for bundles with thicker wefts and thinner wefts because they give you more control and are far more easier to work with. When choosing your bonding glue, while you can use any of the bonding glues out there, I found that the Salon Pro 30-second hair bonding glue is the best I've ever used. The amount of packs of hair you'll need all depend on the look that you're going for. If you're going for a look that's more natural and not so full, make sure you place your wefts a little farther apart, but not too far apart, guys. Make sure when applying your wefts that you don't go any further than about ½ an inch apart. However, if you like your hair full like I do, you'll most definitely need more packs. And when applying the hair, you'll most definitely want to crowd the tracks. When doing bundles using glue, you want to make sure that you always protect your natural hair. And while using a cap underneath your application will most definitely work, I found in my experience, using Morning Glory or a product similar to it works much better. Because for one, no matter what kind of cap you use, the glue always finds a way of seeping through the cap and eventually making its way to your hair. And for two, when those tracks get to itching, and believe me, they always do, right? The Morning Glory makes it much, much easier to get that bobby pin or rat tail tooth comb underneath the tracks to the itch so you can scratch. And lastly, guys, while you most likely will not have this issue if you're using human hair when doing your installation, when using human hair blend or synthetic weave, especially if it's curly, if you don't mind the shine, then by all means, once you're done with your installation, you can simply shake and go. But if you're not a fan of the shiny look and don't want to get clogged, guys, you just may want to go ahead and take the few extra minutes to pull your curls apart. And just remember, when cutting your hair and framing it to your face, it's all about personal preference, so just play around with your hair until you get your desired look. And just remember to have your favorite show on TV or listen to some nice music, because when doing a hair installation correctly, it is going to take you some time. So I think that's about it, guys, because I believe everything else you'll need to know will be covered when I do the demo. So now we got that part done, enough all the yapping. We're about to get into this hairstyle, though. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. And all the gets great a lot of guys. All the gets great a lot of. So until next time, guys, stay real, stay positive, stay up, and damn it, you better watch, fight, and pray. Let's get into this demo, though. Hello! Okay, everybody, let's get started with this demo. Okay, guys, so I've already washed my hair, put it into French braids to the back, and I've applied my protective shield. And my hair protector of choice is the Moroccan Argan Oil Weave Wonder Wrap. Some others prefer to use Morning Glory, but I find that this works out just as good. And the hair I'll be using today is from Cute Milky Wave from the Wand Curl Weave Collection. And it is the Poppin' Wand Curl. And it comes 2 bundles to a pack. And I'm going to be using 4 packs. And guys, would you look at that curl pattern? That curl pattern is so sticky curl. And the bonding glue of choice is the Salon Pro 30-second Super Hair Bond Glue. I've been using this forever. And you'll also need some scissors and a blow dryer, which we'll use later on in the video. So the first thing we want to do is measure our tracks. So you just take your first track and take it at the nape of your neck. And you want to just kind of feel it out from where the end of your hair starts on the left and the end of your hair starts on the right. You know how to do it. You get the gist. And once they line up, take your finger and make sure you mark it. And then you just want to take your scissors where you've marked the weft and cut it. Now sometimes you find when using curly hair, you may get a little bit of unraveling and frizz, but that's okay. All you have to do is take the frizzy part like you're doing a finger coil and wrap it back around the curl. And now it's time to apply our glue. And when applying the glue, guys, you want to definitely make sure that you're applying the glue to the double wefted side of the track. And then, guys, you just want to apply your bonding glue as so. And make sure you apply a generous amount, guys. And make sure you get the edges real good. Because just like lashes, if you don't apply enough glue to the edges, they will lift up. And if you've ever seen tumbleweeds going down the street, that's probably why. And now it's time to apply the track. So take your time for a minute, guys. Just fill out where you're going to put it. And then get to gluing. Now when applying your tracks, guys, you want to make sure you apply pressure from the middle of the track to the outside of the track. What that does is not only does it make sure that your track is aligned, but it also makes sure that you don't have any buckling in your track. It makes sure your track is nice and straight. Then you want to take your handheld blow dryer, put it on the highest setting, and now we want to apply heat to the track. What that does is it makes the glue nice and tacky, and it makes sure that the glue adheres to your hair for a longer period of time. And just be sure to press the track in place as you're applying the heat. I've been using this method forever, and it has never let me down. Now let me do it one more time for the people in the back. Measure out your track. Make sure it's nice and aligned. Be sure not to apply the track to your skin because that will most certainly cause lifting. Mark your track where you're going to cut it with your finger. Cut the track where you marked it with your finger. Now this is the outside of the track. That's not where you want to apply the glue because all it will do is slip all over the place. Make sure you're using the double wefted side of the track. Apply your glue to the double wefted side. Be generous. Don't be stingy, guys, because remember, we want this style to last. Gather your bearings and fill out where you're going to apply your track. And be sure not to place your track any further than ½ an inch apart. Apply pressure from the middle of the track to the outside of the track to make sure it's nice and straight. Because you really don't want your track to buckle, guys, because that will only make air pockets and cause the track to lift up from the middle. And trust me, guys, as you rub across the track, you will know if it is nice and straight. Take your handheld dryer on the highest setting and apply heat to the track, pressing on the track as you're applying the heat. And the more heat you apply to the track, the tackier the glue will become. And that's actually what you want, guys, because you want your tracks to dry before you do any manipulating of any sort. The whole goal here is to definitely keep that track from lifting. And this is what your track should look like at this point. Now I'm going to holler at you guys my piece once I get closer to the middle of my head. But first, I'm about to get my warm-up on, do my stretches, because this is about to be a barn burner. Ready? Okay. Now, for those of you guys, my peeps, who are going to put 2 braids in your hair, I want to show you the method I use to make sure I combat the bulkiness. First, I'm going to go ahead a little bit over the bump of the braids. Then I'm going to measure out my hair. Then I'm going to get my bearings to make sure I apply this track above the bump of the braids. And when you apply this track, guys, you definitely want to apply it with a lot of pressure, because the goal of this is to flatten out the braid and where we're applying the track. And when using this method, you want to definitely make sure you're applying a lot of pressure to the middle of the track. And when applying pressure, make sure that you are tucking the track all the way around the braid. Because if you don't, guys, I can almost guarantee that you'll get lifting in the middle of the track. And just remember, guys, we're always applying heat to every track we apply to our hair. And you always want to make sure you're checking to make sure your tracks are not lifting from the outside of your hair. Because right here, I felt a little lifting on the right side. So all I did was just apply a little bit more glue. And then I just applied more heat. Now, because there's about 1 inch between the track I just applied and the track I applied before that, that's not what we want. Because remember, guys, the goal is to only have no more than ½ inch between each track. So what I'm doing is I'm lifting up the track I just applied, all the hair, getting it out the way. Then I'm measuring out a track that will fit between the 2 tracks that I previously applied to fill up that space. Place glue on the track, get my bearings, make sure it's situated perfectly between the 2 tracks. Apply pressure from the middle of the track to the outside of the track like I always do. Apply heat to the track to make sure it is nice and secure. And as you see, guys, now the hair is laying nicely and you don't see space between your tracks. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. Now, guys, remember when I said I like my hair nice and full? Once I get closer to the middle of my head, that's when I'm going to crowd the tracks. So now when I measure out my tracks, I measure it directly above the previous track I applied, so I can glue the track against it without overlapping it. Now, this is the track that we're going to apply above our ear. When you apply this track, guys, make sure to avoid all the fine baby hairs that you have. And as you see, guys, my baby hair is pretty thin. So when gluing the track, you want to start at where your hair is the thickest. And then just bring it around. And I can't stress this enough, guys. Please do not apply glue to the thinnest part of your hairline. Unless you don't want edges. Okay, guys, now it's time to throw that weave in a circle. So for this part, guys, what I usually do is I take a whole bundle without cutting it. But again, guys, this is a matter of personal preference and what you feel more comfortable doing. You can either cut the weft in half, you can cut it in several pieces and put it together like a puzzle. It's totally up to you. But I myself prefer to use a whole bundle because just keep in mind, guys, the more you cut the weft, the more shedding you're gonna have. So for the sake of the video, guys, first I'm gonna show you how to apply your circle. Just going one time around. So first, starting at the edge of your thickest part of hair on one side, you're gonna just go ahead and bring the track all the way around till you meet up with that side again. And the good thing about doing a circle weave, guys, is you can do a rough measure. It does not have to be exact because we're going in a circle. Or you can simply measure from back to front. That works out too. The ultimate goal is to make sure that you make a full circle with the track. Then apply glue to the track, apply it to your head, and then blow dry it. But since your girl Lily here doesn't want shedding, I'm about to apply this whole bundle to my head, and I'm about to show you how I do it. So starting at the edge where my hair is the thickest, I'm going to bring it all the way around. Now, when you're doing a circle, guys, you want to be real meticulous and make sure that you are applying the circle to the very outer edge of your hair. You do not want any of your hair showing when you start this circle. And as you see, guys, because I like my hair thicker, I am crowding the tracks, meaning I am stacking each track directly above the other, without overlapping it, but most definitely stacked directly one on top of the other. So here we go, guys. You want to definitely take your time and be meticulous with this part. The goal is to make sure that none of our hair is showing should we pull this track back to put in a ponytail. So what you want to make sure you do is place this track directly on the edge of the strongest part of your hairline without disturbing those baby hairs. You are definitely going to have to feel your way around. And as you're applying pressure, you are definitely going to have to move that track out the way to make sure you are placing this hair directly at the strongest part of the edge of your hairline all the way through. Just as I'm doing. Until you meet up with the edge of the track. And then once you've determined that you've met up with the edge of the track, continue to wrap this weave around in a circle, making sure you're either stacking the track on top of the track that's already been laid or a ½ inch apart. And now we're going to just ride this out until we get closer to the top. See how no hair is showing? That's just what you want. And you definitely want to have a hair towel standby to keep that hair that you've already applied out of the way. Okay, guys, now do you see that hair on top of my head sticking up? This is exactly why you want to have a hair tie on standby. Oh well, looks like that lock is about to be a fallen soldier. And keep in mind, guys, there will be some times where you will need to apply more glue to your track because sometimes we just miss parts when we're applying our glue. Now, as I get to the top of my head, I actually cut the track into smaller pieces because it will be more easy to control. And we're almost at the finish line, guys. It's almost time to create our closure. And once you get this close to the top of your head, guys, crowding your tracks is no longer an option. Because what you don't want is to bend over and have people see tracks peeking through your hair. And it's at this point, guys, that your tracks should be darn near overlapping. And you want to just keep doing this, guys, until your hair is practically all closed up. And it should look something like that. And now it's time to create our closure. So you want to have about yay much hair. Yay much hair. I would say that's about maybe 10 inches long. Yeah, about 10 inches long. And just like with all the other tracks, guys, we are going to apply the glue to the double wefted side of the track. And now it's time to start rolling up our closure. So when rolling up your closure, guys, you don't want your folds to be any further than 1/2 inch apart. And as you are rolling, you are wanting to make sure that the track is nice and taut as you go. See how that looks like a roll of carpet? That's what you want. And you can either blow dry it or blow on it to secure it. It's all up to you. And once it's dry, now it's time to flour out our closure. And how you want your closure to lay is strictly up to you. You can do it in 2 halves. You can do it in a crescent. You could do it in a full circle. It's all about how you want your hair to lay. But I like mine to be in a crescent circle with most of the weight of the closure to the back of my head and the rest on the sides. As so. And you know your closure is successful because there won't be any track in sight. And now's the time to cut any loose beards that you see. Because hair sticking up from your closure, guys, is not a good look. Now, before applying glue to your closure, guys, you want to get a feel for where you're going to put it. And this channel's PG-13, Lily. This channel's PG-13. And once you're comfortable with how the closure looks as you position it, it's time to apply the glue. And we most definitely want to be generous when applying glue to our closure because we most definitely want it to stick and we don't want any lifting. You want to do it about that much? Okay, you want to do it about that much. So now you want to get a feel one more time for where you're going to put the closure. Because once you apply this closure, guys, there's no turning back. And now you want to make sure you apply quite a bit of pressure to the closure. But that's not it, guys. We've got to make sure it's secure. You guessed it. We're going to blow dry it in place. So once again, as always, we're going to put the dryer on the highest setting. And we're going to apply heat. And as we apply heat, we're going to alternate pressing down the closure. So we're going to apply heat, press down the closure. And because the hair can get pretty hot, guys, feel free to use a comb to press down the closure if you want. But your girl Lily here is a soldier. I'm going to keep using my hands. Because as for me, guys, I feel that the comb just gets in the way. We're going to apply heat, apply pressure. Apply heat, apply pressure. Apply heat, apply pressure. Woo, that's too much heat. Okay, soldier. And once you're finished, the top of your head should look something like this. Nice and closed up. Now you can feel free to leave your hair like this. But you know, your girl Lily here, I like big hair. So I'm going to fluff it out by simply pulling the curls apart. But first, let me show you what your edges should look like real quick. You don't see any tracks. You don't see any hair. You see my gray hairs peeking out, but that's about it. And you see my baby hairs. But you don't see any tracks in sight. So when the wind blows, guys, you'll be unclockable. So now I'm just pulling my hair apart until I get my desired fullness. And I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward through this part right quick. Okay, guys, now that I have my hair to the fullness that I want, let me do a 360 for you right quick. I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling my